So, Kepa Arrizabalaga has signed for Arsenal. I made a couple of videos talking about Kepa and how I didn't really want him for various reasons. And it's quite clear that he's not a player that I quite like. It's not a player that I wanted at Arsenal for various reasons. I'm tired of a lot of Chelsea players going to Arsenal and a lot of them being flops, essentially. But I had to really think about it, and I thought to myself, look, he's here, he's signed for Arsenal. Let's do a breakdown on Kepa. Let's talk about him and his career, and let's just really dive deep on whether or not he'll be a good fit for Arsenal or not, despite my own personal opinions on Kepa Arrizabalaga. I think one of the main things that I don't really like about him, or what really ticked me off, was what happened in that Carabao Cup final back in 2019, I'd say, when Sarri was at the club and when he refused to come off. I don't know why. I'm not a Chelsea fan by any means. I hate Chelsea, but just seeing that really boiled my blood, and I felt quite bad for Sarri, and especially when I saw guys like Zola and so many other people try to get him to come off, he just didn't do it. So for me, it's just something that I didn't really like about Kepa. And to see what happened in the 2022 Carabao Cup final, where he was at the penalty shootout yet again, and to lose that was also another icing in the cake as well. But overall, let's just see what Kepa does for Arsenal. Now, if we were to look at over the last couple of years, he's been at loan at Real Madrid, he's been to Bournemouth. Last year, he played pretty much majority of the games at Bournemouth. He played 35 times and he kept around 8 to 9 clean sheets with a 70-74% save percentage. Now, if we were to compare that with the other goalkeepers in the league, it's pretty much up there as one of the best. He's a shot stopper, he's third in the Premier League in save percentage in terms of the amount of volume of shots that he has against him, and he has got a save of the month. And in terms of his performances at Bournemouth, he's actually done pretty well. And I think one of the main things about this signing that a lot of people have been caught off by was the fact that he's gone for only £5 million. I remember when Chelsea first got him on an absurdly long contract, they got him for around £80 million. So to see that large drop off from 80 million to 5 million, it's crazy, especially to see what has happened since then. And don't get me wrong, at Chelsea he's achieved quite a bit. He's been part of a Champions League winning squad, he's won the UEFA Super Cup, he's won various different cups and trophies at that club. But let's be honest, like when Mendy came into the club, that's when they really kicked up another gear and were able to do much more. And he was part of multiple finals, whether it's in the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, where he had to come on and be part of a penalty shootout. Overall, if we're looking solely on price, it's crazy in terms of what Arsenal are getting just based on the price. Now, one of the things that we need to look out for is that he is inconsistent with his distribution and command. When he did his interview for Arsenal, in terms of what he brings to the club, he talks about his distribution, but early on in his career it was quite shaky in terms of his positioning and his distribution. So maybe he's learned over the years. I mean, right now he's 30 years old, so he's still got a long while as a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers can go on till their late 30s to their 40s, so he's now, whether or not he will stay at Arsenal for that long, we can say that he is in his prime and he still has many years left. Now, in terms of high pressure situations, a lot of people remember that he has a lot of errors, especially when it comes to long shots or set pieces, and he needs to be coached a lot on his footwork and his diving technique. So that's something that Inaki Ken is going to have to really work on at Arsenal, I think, if he's still there as the goalkeeper coach. Now, as a backup cup specialist, for somebody who was on 80 million, for somebody who was Chelsea's first choice goalkeeper, he would be pretty much, and you know, if we're honest in saying this, as a backup goalkeeper, that's not bad at all for someone who is worth that much and who's had that CV. He would be a good backup for David Raya, especially for so many seasons where Arsenal haven't had a really stable backup option. We had Matt Ryan, Turner, we've got Neto last season, so no one's really stuck. So with Kepa, hopefully he could be at Arsenal for the foreseeable future and really provide that backup position. And for a financial move that is around £5 million, we can't really complain too much. But you know what? It is what it is. He is at Arsenal. He has the opportunity to be the backup. And the funniest thing is that he will have the number 13 shirt. So I don't know what to think about this. I thought that maybe he will get a, I don't know, like a 24, 35, maybe around that. But to get the number 13 shirt, for some reason, for me, it seems like he's going to play a big part. I think that's what that shirts mean to me, but you never know. We're going to have to wait and see how much he's going to be utilized, maybe in the Carabao Cup games, or maybe in the FA Cup as well, maybe in the early stages of the Champions League. You never really know what's going to happen, but it is what it is. Now, just a couple more things about him. He's a good depth option, and we all know how much Arsenal need depth, as I mentioned before, with the goalkeeping options that we've had over the past few years. It's good to have some solidity. He's a Spanish player, so on top of the other Spanish players that are at Arsenal and who we've been linked to, it's adding to the Spanish contingent, really. And I think that's been a key focus with Arsenal, with who they've been trying to get. If we were to compare him with the other goalkeepers that Arsenal have had in the past, in terms of save percentage and in terms of being compared to David Raya, he's not as good as David Raya, let's be honest. Like, David Raya's a lot better than him, but as a backup, compared to the save percentage of 74% to 71%, which is Kepa, that's not bad drop off, to be fair, and he'll be able to do much more. Raya's better at distributions, we've already covered that, but I think one of the key things that Kepa is at fault at is with corners. Now, one of the things I really like about Raya is the fact that when corners happen, when there's crosses coming to the box, he always takes care of it. He always catches the ball at the right moments, at the right time, and his position has been really good. But with Kepa, I just don't think he's as good as Raya in that regard. So that's why he's had to make up for it in terms of his shot stopping. So yeah, I think it makes sense for him to be a backup in this way. But yeah, those are my thoughts about Kepa Arrizabalaga in terms of him being as an all-round sort of player. I'm yet to find out in terms of what his wages are, but let's just see that it's not just way too much. I think that at Arsenal, as a goalkeeper that's going to be a backup, I think it's going to be okay. Despite my personal opinions, I think I was a bit skeptical of the fact that he said that his personality was one of the main factors and what he could bring to the team, and I don't know about that, to be honest with you. But look, he's been part of Real Madrid, he's been part of a Champions League winning team, I suppose, in terms of as a backup option, so I guess he'd seen firsthand on what it takes to win that, especially at Chelsea and especially at Madrid. In the FA Cup, he's done all right. In the Carabao Cup, he's got to many finals, and I've already talked about the UEFA Super Cup as well. But yeah, that is the end of this video. Hope to see you soon in the next vid. Look, Kepa's here at Arsenal, despite whatever my personal opinions of him are, and whatever I've seen of him in the past, he's an Arsenal player. I want to give him a chance, I want to give him an opportunity. He's part of the Arsenal family, and I hope he does well at the club, because if he does well and if he's able to get us a Carabao Cup, FA Cup or whatever, then great. You know, his success at the club will be our success as a fan base. So hopefully I want him to do well, but let's just see how things go. But yeah, that's in this video. See you soon. Please like and subscribe, and on to the next vid. Hopefully Arsenal can focus more on attacking players. But yeah, that's it for now.